What we have here is a failure to communicate. Georgette and I were just talking about, do you remember the movie? It was Cool Hand Luke. And that statement has probably grown since that movie came out exponentially. Almost everybody knows that line. What we have here is a failure to communicate. And then it made Georgette and I start to think, what's that really mean in business? Because business is all about communication. We communicate a message, and if it's good, we make a sale. And if we don't make it good enough, the sale is bust. Reminds us of a story we heard one time. A guy walked into a fast food restaurant, and he said to the waiter or the wait person behind the counter, I'd like a cheeseburger and fries. And the guy said, well, okay, fine, but you know what? Our fryer is broken, so we don't have any French fries. Can I get you something else? And the customer looked at the board again, and then he came back and said, well, then give me a double cheese and fries. Guy behind the counter is looking at him like, he must not have heard me. So again, he says, I'm sorry, our French fryer is broken. We don't have any fried foods at all. We have no French fries. Can I get you something else? The customer looked back at the menu board and then came forward and said, well, in that case, just give me a fish sandwich and an order of fries. Now the guy behind the counter is beside himself. He doesn't know what to do, and then he comes up with an idea. He said to the customer, excuse me, but can I ask you 3 questions? The customer said, yeah. He said, the first question is, how do you spell straw in strawberry? And the customer said, oh, that's easy. It's S-T-R-A-W. And the guy said, that's right. It's my second question. How do you spell rasp in raspberry? And the guy said, well, that's easy too. It's R-A-S-P. And the guy said, yeah, that's actually right. Third and final question. How do you spell the freak in French fries? Customer looked at him. He says, there is no freak in French fries. And the guy said, that's what I'm trying to tell you. What we have is a failure to communicate. But what it makes George and I think about and talk about a lot is the fact that what do you do to make sure that the people that you have working for you have the right messages and the right communication technique when it comes to push or shove, live or die on making a sale with a customer. It's amazing to me sometimes when we walk into stores and people don't know as much about it as we do, and we don't even work there. That's a scary thought. Which makes us wonder how many times a month, maybe once a month, you ought to get together with someone or all of the people that work with you and talk about new items, new products or new procedures, and how to explain them to a customer so that it really creates value and we don't have a failure in our communication. Maybe it's one-on-one or an entire group. But doesn't it make sense when you send them out there to help the customers, they're armed with the right information to speak to them in a proper way? And that's your responsibility. And that's something to think about.